Most people think multi-agent means throwing in two AI bots at the same problem and hoping something cool happens. But real multi-agent work is not chaos. It's about clear roles, clean handoffs, and shared artifacts. So in this video, I'm going to use Paperclip to run small but realistic engineering workflow using two agents. One agent will design the plan, another will build the game. Then the first agent will review the implementation, and finally, the implementation agent will apply the fixes. In this video, we are going to build a more complex browser game project using a real workflow. The game idea is Tower Defense Lite, and here is the process we follow. The founding engineer here will create the project plan using the issue 1 and save it as a file inside the repo. Second, the front end game engineer will read the plan using the issue 2 and implement the game basically. Third, founding engineer will review the implementation against the original plan and save the review as another file. And final, the front end game engineer will read the review and apply the required fixes and polish. So the full flow is plan, implement, review, and polish. Why this workflow matters? And this is important because if the planning only lives in issue comments, the handoff is weak. A strong workflow is when agents collaborate through files inside the project. One create the plan, one build from the plan, one review against the plan, and one fixes things using the review. That makes workflow much more realistic and much easier to demonstrate. Okay, so I have already created the issues here. So here I already created a four issues draft that I will going to create issues in the paperclip dashboard. The first issue is for the our founding engineer, which will create a implementation file for our tower defense light game. So I have clearly defined the goal, what exactly need to do, what is the scope, what's the task basically, and the file, and it will create a final plan in this path docs plan with this name, and it should include all these points, right? And same for we have a second issue for the front end game engineer, which will pick the implementation plan guide, and it will execute the plan and create will start building the uh, game using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, and it will return a playable tower defense game on the browser. Okay, and then we have one more a third issue for the founding engineer, which will review the output of the front end game engineer. It will basically check the review file that the second front end agent will create. So it will review against the plan, all the validation it will check, and whatever task we have given here and the scope, it will basically check it's completed or not. Okay, and then it will again give the review and the feedback with clear actionable items. And then again we have a fourth issue that for the front end engineer, which will review first, it will apply the fixes for the comments that will come through the third issue, and then again it will check the plan if anything remains based on the feedback. So it will fix all the issue and apply it, and it will come back with the updated version. So let's go in the paperclip dashboard and create these issues so that our agents start working. So let's create the first issue for the founding engineer. So here is the title, and we will assign these to founding engineer. Currently there is no project. no issue. So let me copy the content here. Okay, and the priority is medium now. Let me create issue, and then let's run create the second issue for our front end engineer. Assign these to front end, and here is the description. Okay, the medium created. Now again create the third issue for the founding engineer. It will review. Assign to founding engineer. I will paste all these issues in the comment box or in the description so that you can use at your side as well. And then the fourth issue, assign to front end. Priority medium, create issue. Notice how this workflow is much easier to understand from a management perspective. The founding engineer act like a lead. It defines scope and validate output. The front-end engineer act like a specialist. It focus on implementation and fixes. That role separation is what makes the whole setup feel practical. And this is also where paperclips start to make sense. If you only want one agent doing one task, paperclip is probably too much. But when you want roles, hands off oversight, and structured issue tracking, this kind of system become much more useful. Okay, let's see if any files created by our agents. So in the docs way here we can see the plan that is created by the founding engineer, the V1. So here is the project goal, game summary, no, the feature scope for V1, in scope, out of scope. Okay, and then this is the module breakdown. So here our front end engineer also started working. So in the src folder, if you see, so it started creating files, UI. If you go to the here in the dashboard, so here we can see implementation issue is completed, the review is picked, I guess, and it's also completed. Here we can see the review file. Okay, the implementation is not present like this, and if we see here the dashboard and the issues, so and our we can see the preview of the, so here is our game preview. Basically, start wave, like we can play cannon tower, restart, money ready. Okay, so we can use, now we can see a final result, a more subsequent browser game built through a proper agent. And the important part is not just the game exists, the important part is that the work moved through a structured life cycle: design, implementation, review, and polish. Here you can see our the implementation is again kicked based on the review, right? So if we run this HTML, here we see. So this is our final version. Now we can see the final result, a more subsequent substantial browser game built through a proper multi-agent workflow. And the important part is not just that the game exists. The important part is that the work moved through a structured life cycle: design, implementation, review, and polish. So that was a real multi-agent workflow in Paperclip, using two different agents with different responsibilities. Instead of using AI in a random way, we used a much more structured process. One agent planned, one agent built, one agent reviewed, and one agent polished the result. That's the kind of workflow where Paperclip becomes genuinely interesting. The video focus was on creating the workflow and setting up the four issues one by one inside the Paperclip.